Hello, welcome back. Here we are, one finger death punching again, as we all know what we're up to. Let's just get on with it, shall we? We're going to try and get up to this boss fight, I think, today. I think we can do that in a quarter of an hour. Maybe not, because it's been really hard. But let's get it going. Got 195. And it's going to be fairly tasty. See, bit of nice ordering on the switcheroo dudes there. Yeah, it's going to heat up. Oops. Didn't want that miss, but never mind. Yeah, this is tasty from the beginning, isn't it? Boom-a-loom. Nice. You can have one. And you! Boom! So far so good. Nothing too upsetting at the moment. Who knows? Maybe I'm going to have a good day today. All feels nice. Boom! That's always so handy. Deep impact. And we still got the health one active. Though at the moment I don't need it. But rest assured, I probably will at some point. Ouch! Well, I got it back straight away, look, so can't complain. I can't remember if the game bugs out, and if you do finish, no, because you lose. I'm trying to think if you get something for being a perfect. Being able to restore a perfect, but I think it's based on hits taken rather than your end stage life, number of life bars you got left. Ouch! Getting it wrong. Getting it wrong. Come on. Get some distance. That's right. Yeah. Deflect. It's a thrower with a ball of death. Oh, I see. Gambled on that one. Hoping to get an interruption, and when you hope for it, if you hope for a ball of death to interrupt a brawler, it's not going to happen. And you've got to treat the brawlers as if they're going to fuck you up, and to deal with their inputs as quickly as possible. Ah. Tasty. And we got 4. Oh right, you're fucked then, aren't you? There we go. Wasn't too bad, was it? A bit too missy, I would say. Could do a bit better than that, but we might as well keep plumbing along. Straight up 200. We got 2 health bars to get back on this one, so it's a pretty nice little buffer, a nice safety net, if you will. Hey. Probably a good time to talk about favourite Kung Fu films, or should I save that for the final push? But I think the one thing that I really liked about One Finger Death Punch, which I think they got quite right. I think everyone remembers the well, maybe they don't. I'm sure there's a lot of people who don't remember the stick Kung Fu animations from the very early days, pre all your base days. So really early days on the internet. I remember the stick animations. Stick Kung Fu, which everyone thought was amazing. So it's clear that this was like a bit of a, is inspired by that. But I think the thing that this goes deeper is that kind of, One Finger Death Punch seems to portray a certain love, not only of like the classic Chinese Kung Fu animal styles, with Drunken Fist on top, but the love of that kind of Shaw Brothers 70s, early 80s era of Kung Fu. So the pre-Choi Hark era Kung Fu, if I'm prepared to say what it is. I say I'm not that well versed in Kung Fu film terminology, so I don't know if I'm getting the naming, the eras correct, but I would call it the Shaw Brothers era for me. That was nearly all of the Kung Fu films I saw would be from that kind of an era. Just when you're talking about the that gap in time between the death of Bruce Lee and the ascendancy of Jackie Chan. The kung fu fights had that kind of hyper choreographed, kind of almost like a, what's the word for it? I can't remember the word for it now. But almost like a training. They were fighting with their kind of training movements, as it were. The kata, that was it. It was more like a, rather than being sort of a full-on brawl, it was like they were doing katas at each other and either blocking it or taking it. And that's what I quite love. That it was almost balletic in some ways, especially see the really good films. There's lots that stand out that people remember, like Jackie Chan's big breakthrough movies, like Snake and the Eagle's Shadow, and of course Drunken Master, Young Master and stuff, which had a bit of Wang Jiang Li, the old Thunderfoot stroke Silver Fox, who of course was brilliant as Thunderfoot in Drunken Master. But that era of Kung Fu, it's so lovely to see a video game that kind of copies that, because I think to a certain extent you see it in some beat 'em ups. So I think something like, especially the 3D ones, where they had the much longer chains of moves than you would get in a 2D animated one, and it was nice to see that replicated, because I think even though something like Tekken 3 had that blatant, was it Tekken 2 actually had that blatant Jackie Chan character, who sort of came to the fore a bit more in Tekken 3 and then mysteriously disappeared, and it's never really fully explained why. But they were always concerned with being a bit too fluid motion, and I guess to a certain extent Akira in Virtual Fighter was a bit the same, because he's a bit stop-starty, isn't he? So it kind of replicated that. Oh, we got to get really going on these dudes. We're well behind on my time. So they kind of replicated the movement and never really got close, did they? And I think it was that was close to the wire. But I think they never really got close to replicating movement in those classic Hong Kong films. Whereas this does, in a way, it feels like it's really close to that kind of classic fighting sort of movements. Especially think some of like the deeper sort of films, like Shaolin vs. Lama, 36 Chambers of Shaolin. But there was like absolutely millions of those films, and they're all pretty much of a muchness. I don't really think, if I'm going to name check two, I would say one of my favourites is Snake and Crane Arts of Shaolin, which is a brilliant Jackie Chan film with loads of bonkers kung fu styles in it, and an amazing plot as well. And I suppose the other one would be, I'm really struggling to remember the name of it, but it had a really young Donnie Yen, and he has to learn some family intrigue. Ends up with it, like his family being killed by some super hardcore, really savage, like hard style kung fu dude, who he has to learn a super soft style. I can't remember what it was called. It's really bugging me. But it involved getting drunk. There was some kind of drunken master style stuff in it. And I think that style of filmmaking kind of reached its zenith, maybe with Fist of Legend. I don't know if you remember Fist of Legend. Anyone remember that? Which is Jet Li film. It was basically Jet Li's remake of Fist of Fury, which is the best Bruce Lee film. And that's fucking great, because he does all sorts. He does a shitload of Aikido at the beginning, which is awesome, and then it just goes actually full on crazy kung fu bonkers. And then there's the amazing fight with the Japanese dude, the karate fight, where he gets blinded. Is the Japanese guy blind? And then Jet Li? No, that's right. He gets like something in his eyes, and the other guy offers, so he can't see. Some dust gets in his eyes. He can't see, so the Japanese guy offers to blindfold himself or something. Anyway, absolutely brilliant fight scenes, and it was kind of reminiscent a bit. It wasn't quite as sort of choppy as the kind of later Yuen Wo-ping fight direction got, from Once Upon a Time in China or something like that, which I think was kind of a bit inspired by the way Jackie Chan sort of sped up his fight scenes in kind of the they became less kind of choreographed and felt more like they were more freeform. But then you had like the fight in Meals on Wheels against Benny the Jet, which is one of the best fight scenes. Oh fuck! See, I'm talking too much about kung fu and not concentrating on my fighting. Anyway, enough of my mumbling about kung fu films. You understand why one of the reasons why I love One Finger Death Punch is because of that kind of stilted movement. Really reminds me of the old school. It's nice to see, because I don't think we're going to see much of that anymore. Mind you, I haven't seen a modern kung fu film for a good 10 years. Because I think the last one I saw was maybe Hero, Jet Li's Hero. And it was just like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. And there's an awful lot of talking. You know, no one's meeting an old master and learning a forbidden technique, and there isn't an evil villain. There's just this dude, and the fight scenes are kind of... I think the problem was the multi-cut fight scene was the problem. And it was kind of the idea that some of these older fight scenes, there'd be massive, long, single takes. And you know, they'd been orchestrating this massive fight for fucking ages. There must have been so much rehearsal just to get those fight scenes right. Then I remember Jackie Chan saying he'll only fight with his own stuntmen because other people just aren't good enough. Which I think was one of the reasons why that fight in Meals on Wheels was such a big deal, because he trusted Benny the Jet to be able to keep up with him. And then of course Benny the Jet turns up weirdly in another one of my favourite films, which is Grocer Point Blank. Obscure jumping around the cinema for you. Which is great because it's a John Cusack film. And of course John Cusack, it's worth watching no matter what he's in. And there are very few actors that I will say that about. I think there's only a couple more. One of them being the late and great Harry Dean Stanton. So I'll just watch him in anything. I don't care what it is. It just turns out that a lot of his films are fucking brilliant films anyway. Let's not get carried away. But yeah, so that is one of the reasons why I really like One Finger Death Punch, is that its movement is really nice, I think. So I'm really glad that they didn't mix it up too much for One Finger Death Punch 2. Because one of the interesting things it does have is you can unlock skins for your fighter and for the enemy fighters. So they have like faces and shit. And they have like clothes on. No, we got to concentrate. We're going to get through 30 dudes. Shouldn't I be getting some health back soon? So this is the 200 one though, isn't it? So it'll be bang on 0 that I get my health back. But look, it's in the wind down. There we go. It would be amazing if I'd fucked that one up, wouldn't it? It'd be mind-blowing. 10 misses though, Jesus. That's what you get for waffling about kung fu films with no real end result. And you're thinking, oh look who we reached. We reached the awful boss. So let's just clear this. And then that'll be our last one for today. He says. There we go. You have to be quite methodical with this. Because, as I've said before about boss fights, one of the things I hate is all I'm doing is looking at that stack of counters under the number. And that's all I'm doing and just typing them in. So it's not a very exciting fight for me. I don't think they're particularly exciting levels. And they're actually a bit annoying. I have grumbled about them a lot. There we go. Boom. All done. Nice and dusted. Right. Love you guys. Hope you enjoyed that little burst. We've got our 15 minutes. And we'll be back later on. We've got to choose which route we're going to take. 'Cause this one takes us to a power-up, which may or may not be useful. Whereas this one has a nunchaku round. But then again, if we end up doing this boss, then we can go back and do the nunchaku round just for fun. But I think we'll be heading up this way because fuck that bomb level. That's going to be shit. But there's is that a defender level? I think it is. Anyway, that's it. So I'll be back soon, and enjoy. Bye bye.